All right. So you recently received some DNA results from some of the elongated skulls, and can you explain that process? Like how many you tested, what testing sites you used, and the results of those DNA testing.
Well, we did two major studies. One involved 18 different skulls, um, and samples were taken by a crew that came down from the United States. There were a crew of 5 people. So one was an archaeologist, one was a filmmaker, one was the director, one was a forensic person, and another was an assistant. And so they came down with all of the equipment they required, including full body suits to wear to make sure there was no contamination, gloves and masks and headgear, etc.
And what year was
And
this happening?
that was about 7 years ago.
Okay.
And so they took, I think, about 100 samples in total, and they
100
applied through
samples,
the,
as in 100 skulls, or 100 samples from a number of skulls?
yeah, 100 samples from 18 skulls.
Okay.
And so they did the proper thing. They went through the Ministry of Culture here in Peru to get the proper paperwork. But the permit process took 3 years to complete. But they were able to come down, take the samples, and take them back to the US legally. And then the samples were sent to 3 universities, one in Canada and 2 in California.
Okay, so that was 7 years ago. And when did you get the results of that experiment?
About 4 years ago, because
About
the
4 years.
process took, yeah, the process took 3 years.
Okay, okay, so 4 years ago. So for 4 years, you've had the results.
Mhm.
And what were the results, genetically speaking, as far as the haplogroups and where these skulls actually originate from on this Earth geographically?
Okay, well, of the 18 skulls, 2 of them were um, maternal haplogroup B, which is consistent with Native American people from this area. And then 2 of them were listed as unknown, as in the computer program couldn't match with any known human DNA. And then the rest of them were related to elongated skulls found around the Black Sea and Caspian Sea area of Eurasia.
Okay, dang, that's pretty fascinating. So 2 of them were from that area, and then the rest were
Mhm.
all scattered around. Um, where do you think that the Paracas elongated skulls peoples are originally from, if we could say like a single source?
Well, that's the big question, because since these skulls are only, 2,000 to 2,500 years old, their difference isn't the result of evolution, because evolution takes hundreds of thousands, if not millions of years. So they suddenly appear around the Black Sea area, and then soon after that, they appear on the coast of Peru. So, I'm open to anything. It could be that they do have an off-world connection of some kind.
Okay. Um, yeah, I'll get into that in just a little bit as far as the off-world theory. So, have you investigated any of the elongated skulls from Crimea or the Black Sea area?
No, I haven't been able to because of COVID. So I was
Oh,
planning on going to that area about 2 years ago, but this whole thing has shut everything down.
okay. And to my understanding, I read in one of your books that the second largest elongated skulls come from that area. Is that correct?
Yeah, they're almost identical looking.
Okay, so we're talking 2,500 years ago, so like about 500 BC, these skulls originate from, correct?
They seem to be, yeah.
Okay. Um, Now, do you think that these peoples are linked in any way to the biblical Nephilim?
Some researchers believe that. L.A. Marzulli, who I worked very closely with, that's his belief.
Yeah.
Um, but I don't know. The area of the Nephilim is the Levant area, which is like Israel, and Lebanon, and this is more around the Black Sea. So there's quite a difference in terms of actual location difference.